So Tom Brady had himself quite the performance. It was an up and down performance. There was a pick six. In fact, let's just break down the pick six first. What's going to happen is that it's zone coverage, cover three zone. You're going to see a lot of cover three. That's what the Chargers tend to like to run. And this is a pretty simple idea. You have one player is going to run a curl route, and then you also have Justin Watson, who's running an out route. Both are just kind of past that middle of the field, where usually it's going to be the corner deep, who, if someone makes a play, it is going to be that corner who's deep. But what's worth mentioning here is you look at how shallow the corner is. The one I'm talking about is the one who's right next to the NFL logo. You know, he is not very far deep. And like, watch, once this play starts, you notice that he's doing a pretty good job of not going too far deep. He has to make sure he doesn't get beat deep. So that's why these plays can be effective. But right now, he's doing a very good job of not keeping himself too deep. He is, you know, his hips are turned towards the middle of the field, and so I'm assuming Brady just feels like he's going to cover up the curl route, which is the one on closer to the right, you know, closer to the middle of the field. So that's why Brady is going to make this throw to the out, because it looks, you know, the hips are turned. It looks like he's going to cover the middle of the field, but it's really just a tremendous defensive play as he's able to jump in front, get the interception, and get the pick six. Obviously, it's never a good play when you throw a pick six, but it wasn't a terrible play either. It was really just a good defensive play. He deserves some blame for it, but Brady more than made up for it with what he was able to do throughout, you know, the rest of the game. One thing Tampa Bay was able to do very well was execute zone busters. And, you know, the key thing about cover three is there's only one safety deep. So they ran a lot of plays where they would have multiple players run deep over the middle of the field to try to get the safety out of position, and they would hit the other guy. You know, early on, Brady was forcing the ball to Evans. So eventually they stopped, you know, just single covering Evans. The safeties would start moving around. And once Brady could get the safeties to move around, he could really have some success. Like, for example, this play. It's cover three zone. You have O.J. Howard and Rob Gronkowski both running deep routes that are going to both be relatively over the middle of the field. Howard's route is a little bit more over the field than Gronkowski's is, but that's the idea, where, you know, it's zone coverage, and as you see, once this play starts, Brady's going to make a throw to Howard, and you look at how far over the safety is. He moved very far over to cover Gronkowski, and because of this, it's now leaving Howard completely wide open, where a linebacker is going to try and run in and make the play, but that's just not going to be easy to do. Howard's able to make the catch and get a touchdown. It was a lot of plays like that. That's a lot of how Tampa Bay was able to have success in this second half. You know, was sort of early on, Brady was still trying to figure out exactly how the Chargers ran their offense, but once he really figured exactly where they were going to put their extra protection, he was able to always attack the other side of the field and get a lot of yards that way. I got to give some love to Scotty Miller, who had a really good game. He's having a good season. Someone who's kind of a complete unknown heading into this season, playing really well. It's going to be zone coverage on this one. It's cover three. Scotty Miller's running a deep route. And what's interesting about this route is that, you know, again, keep in mind, the corner who's in charge of covering the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, he does start a little bit further in. And so for Miller, he just feels like if he can get past that corner, he has a chance. So if he can get past the defensive back who's in charge of covering that area, it almost turns into like a cover one man coverage play where it could definitely get open. And watch how it looks like Miller made a double move. It's hard to really see exactly, but because it was off screen. But as you see, he is able to get open right here. You know, he's able to just get past the cornerback, and now the safety is trying to run over and make a play, but it's just difficult for him to get over in time. And you're also going to see just a great throw from Brady. You know, I mean, listen, you can nitpick and say it should have been a little bit further. Whatever. You complete a pass that far down the field, it's a great throw no matter what. On the very next play, this would happen where it's going to be, again, cover three zone. And again, this is what they're doing where, you know, Mike Evans, who, by the way, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but Mike Evans had an incredible day. The fact that he was banged up and was able to still take up so much attention and still get over 100 yards, absolutely absurd day from Evans. He was fantastic. Also, Tristan Wirfs had an incredible day as well, really shutting down Joey Bosa, but that's besides the point. What you're going to see on this play is that Evans is running deep on the top of the screen. Scotty Miller runs underneath. You would think that this should be an easy play. The safety takes away Scotty Miller, and then the cornerback on the top of the screen takes away Mike Evans. The problem is the safety is paying extra attention to Evans because this is a red zone situation. Evans is an incredible red zone threat, so they are paying extra attention to Evans. But the problem with that is that when the safety goes up there, now Miller's going to get wide open over the middle of the field, and it's an easy touchdown. And you even saw the safety was frustrated. I think he thought that he was going to have extra help over the middle. But just, again, kind of a miscommunication, but at the same time, it's a miscommunication because Tampa Bay has been setting these things up so well, and because Brady, the more and more the game went on, the more and more he was able to realize exactly what the weaknesses in the Chargers were. Despite the fact that this game was actually a very close game, one-score game, I do think it's fair to say that if this was a 4-game series, I think Tampa Bay probably sweeps the Chargers, just because Brady figured out how to beat this team later and later on. In this game. So, I think that the second half, Brady was a lot better than the first half. Brady, really good adjustments, not by him and by the coaching staff. I said I want to talk about Evans, and I do have to talk about that. I mean, he is a cheat code at times out there. This was a great example where it's a deep route. It's 2nd down and 20 because it's just off of, it was actually a Mike Evans penalty, which put it back 10 yards. But what you're going to see is that right when this play starts, Evans is not open at all when Brady throws it there. I mean, look at this. This is not open. I even verbally watched, when I was watching this, I verbally said to myself, what are you doing, Brady? Because this doesn't make any sense to make this throw. But Evans is the kind of guy where you can just throw it up there. Even though he had a check down that would have probably got like 7-8 yards to O.J. Howard, he says, you know what, I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to throw it to Evans. And Evans is able to adjust and make that grab, which is just absurd. And it wasn't the best play from Casey Hayward, admittedly. But at the same time, Evans is the kind of guy where he's 6'5". So he doesn't have to be as far down the field to still make those catches, which is why he was able. That's part of why he was able to make that play. Evans was a complete warrior. I could have made this video about him. I could have made this video about Tristan Wirfs. I could have made this video about Scotty Miller. But I wanted to make it about Brady because at the end of the day, this was Brady's doing. Brady was the main guy on this play. He did the most to get there. And the way that he sort of made adjustments, these little adjustments as the game went on, and was just making smarter and smarter decisions as the game went on, I found very fascinating. And it's how he was able to pick up a victory, even though his first half wasn't very good. It really wasn't. But he was fantastic in the second half. Really just tremendous work from Tom Brady and from the Buccaneers coaching staff, because I'm sure some of this came from Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians as well. So good job by all those guys. And listen, Anthony Lynn is a good defensive coordinator. I do kind of question the sticking with cover 3 zone late in the game. I think that they probably should have made some adjustments themselves. But you know what? They wanted to stick with what they do, but it did not work out well for them. Tampa Bay's defense could have been better. That's a bit of a concern for Tampa Bay, but as a whole, really good game from their offense, and you can't complain too much when you come back from down 17. Kind of shows what they're capable of when things are firing on all cylinders. Quick turnaround. Got to play the Bears on Thursday Night Football. Be interesting to see how that game goes. But I thought this was a great game from Brady. This is what we signed up for when Brady went to the Bucs, is seeing games like this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.